I'm Fredrik Leilani, and I'm the filmmaker.
And I'm Leilani Farha, and I'm the advocate.
Hello, advocates. This is Pushback Talk, and this is our, the way of us keeping alive, putting words to each other, and we call it word food. Let's play with words, Leilani. Ready?
Always ready, Fredrik.
Wall Street.
Oh. I thought you were going to say walleye, which is a kind of fish.
Wall Street. Wall Street.
Wall Street. Well, Wall Street. Of course, I've had to become somehow intimate with the actors on Wall Street, especially those that engage in the housing world. And, actors like BlackRock, Blackstone, others as well, Invitation Homes. There's many, many others. Yeah, and for me, a lot of them are not the good guys. Most of them are not the good guys. And that's because they're wreaking havoc with people's lives by making their homes unaffordable, by evicting them from their homes, by buying up homes that they will then rent at really exorbitant prices that no one can afford. So, Wall Street.
But it seems like the system of the stock markets that in the beginning was meant to, how do we find money to build companies and so on, has it's turned around to be something that is more exploiting companies, taking out wealth from companies and sending it on to shareholders. And this, especially when we're talking about people's homes, it becomes extra complicated, I would say. So
yes.
Maybe, are we seeing the end of this kind of way of capitalism? This extreme, can you see it coming to an end?
Well,
because it's obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's mixed. They continue to play a huge role, an extractive role is what you were talking about, extracting wealth from different places and lining their own bank accounts with more zeros, as you would say. But there's some interesting movement, let's say. So President Trump said a few days ago that he would like to introduce legislation through Congress that would prohibit private equity from purchasing single-family homes anymore in the United States. And he said, people live in homes, not corporations, or something like that. For someone like me, startling.
That's your message, getting all the way to...
I know, I made
we don't like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's very complicated for me. And we wait to see. And if he was a real friend of people and really wanted to curb this, it wouldn't just be single-family homes. He would prohibit their purchase of apartment buildings, their purchase of mobile homes, those, the most affordable homes. So we'll leave that. But it's a move.
But
right?
When he said it had an impact on Wall Street, didn't it?
Immediately, I think Blackstone's shareholder value went down by, 6 or 9%, something like that.
I think 5.6%.
Oh, 5.6%. There we go.
Yeah, so it's
a sizable drop.
January 7th. It's kind of interesting that because when Blackstone entered into the housing market, 2012, after the global financial crisis, they bought packages of homes from the banks. Unfortunately, it was during Obama, they found a way to save the banks and they sold like 1 million houses in one package. So if you were a homeowner, you couldn't buy your own home. You have to buy 1 million homes. So they kind of opened the door for actors like Blackstone who were sitting on a lot of money. And so that's how they propelled into the world of homes. And Jesus, in a very short time, they have totally destroyed the living conditions from people in cities all over the world. And not even in cities, because it grows out in wider and wider circles, where everything is getting more expensive. And it's like an extortion of everybody's work because everybody have to work more to pay them. It's like it's the new tax authority. Is these guys who invested to bought all our homes. So that's why I'm interested in Wall Street, because there is something with the value of these homes, the value put on top of the buildings, that is not really reflected in the cost of building them or running them. So at some point it must fall.
One would hope. I don't know. And there will be such huge pushback because so much wealth is tied. You know, they say tied to residential real estate in particular, and the value, the fake value that now attaches to residential real estate. They say that 2/3, I think, of all wealth is stored in real estate. So there's a lot at stake for real estate values to come down, a lot at stake. Yeah.
So it's not, I mean, we could describe capitalism as something very productive. You gather money so you can produce stuff and make good stuff for humanity. But this sector of capitalism isn't very productive because it's also cost other businesses a lot. They also have to work harder to pay for the rents and to the interest rate to the people who own their buildings and their facilities, their land. So it is kind of, I mean, in some way there should be like a union of other businesses against these guys.
That's really interesting, actually. I hadn't thought of that before and hadn't heard of that before, but absolutely. And interesting. I wonder how you think the movement against billionaires attaches or doesn't attach to Wall Street. So I heard this morning that someone in California is proposing a billionaire's tax, and it would be a one-time tax, 5% of billionaires' assets, I guess. And of course, there's major pushback from the governor of California, Newsom, saying, I think this is so interesting. He said, it's going to squelch or, dampen entrepreneurial enterprise, and it will drive people from California. Then they had a billionaire come on, I forget his name, I forget which company, and he was like, this isn't even on my radar. I don't care. I chose to put my business in Silicon Valley, and if I'm asked to pay a tax, I'll pay the tax. So I thought it was interesting. So there you have billionaire creeping toward at least showing some understanding of value of taxation, that kind of thing. But then you have the governor saying, I don't want to actually tax these guys.
No, because he needs to fund his campaigns and he needs that money. They are all trapped in this hellhole, But I think it's interesting. I mean, the wealth tax, it's something that the whole world is talking about. We talked about it for quite many years now, but you can see it's really popping up. I think Scotland is about to have some kind of wealth tax coming up now. It's a big thing in Spain and it's a big thing in France. I mean, it's talked about everywhere. And in the US, you have something called the patriotic millionaires who also propose, and that's Abigail Disney, who is then also proposing, yes, we want to pay tax. Please tax us more than you taxed the bus drivers. I think that's kind of cool. And I think that language is breaking through. And you see now with Mamdani, that's what he says every day, So there is some hope. But how will Wall Street handle this? Because they are so much they need the growth. And the growth they have right now is guns and ships, It's like it's war. War is the only thing that makes the stock market roll right now. And we don't want more wars, We want we don't want them to make that kind of money. It's crazy.
No. All right.
So, my friend.
That was Wall Street. Are you ready for a word from my side?
Okay.
How about safety?
Safety. I know when we talked about, when we made Push, safety was also safe home. a place where you could lock the door and breathe. So that's kind of one basic safety we all need. And then, of course, we need safety on our streets. If you're a bicyclist, you want safe and protected bike lanes. You want people to be able to walk in a city without getting killed by some aggressive car driver. And we want the world to be safe. And of course, the world isn't safe. When we start to fight crime, we also sometimes makes the world even less safe. So it's kind of complicated. What do you think about?
Well, I mean, maybe I should have given the word insecurity, because in fact, why I gave you the word safety was because I've just read a book by a woman named Astra Taylor, and it's called The Age of Insecurity. It's an excellent book. I recommend people to read it. And it's really interesting. I mean, she talks about the various ways in which people feel insecure. Of course, housing is one of them, but she talks about other things as well. The rise of populism, for example, and how that makes people feel insecure. What I found a big takeaway, and I was surprised that I hadn't thought of it myself, but anyway, that's why we read books, to learn from other people and their wisdom. She said that insecurity or a lack of safety is part of the neoliberal model. It's intentional. And I mean, it goes to our conversation about what drives Wall Street and how war drives Wall Street and big wealth and big capital accumulation. And it's not different to say, well, all of this creation of lack of safety actually benefits a whole sector of people, including the billionaires and Wall Street. So that's what I was thinking about, how awful it is to have the recognition that we live in a world where those in positions of power are purposefully making us feel insecure and unsafe. I mean, there's a lot to reckon with in this world right now, right? The idea that I just said, that we live in a world structured to make us feel insecure. We live in a world where international law, human rights has been abandoned. Also, that makes us feel insecure. I don't know. There's a lot right now.
But then, where do we find safety? And then we have to go back and look around us to our community. And
Absolutely.
What we see now in the US is like the community is rising up, and working together. And I think that's the feeling of, and I can also think in Iran, the feeling of walking together with thousands of people on the streets, even if it's really dangerous, the feeling is also with my friends, I'm safe. It's like the emotional thing of, okay, this is horrible. We're up against some really dangerous bastards. But with my friends, with my community, I feel safe. And I think that's, again, what you talked about the donut economy last week. But this is, again, the community. It's a good starting point to create safety.
I think that's right. I think also about what happened recently in Minneapolis with ICE going into this neighborhood. I don't know if you saw the images, but it was just like could have been my neighborhood. I mean, except I live in Canada, but, just regular homes. Well, they were actually quite nice homes. Looked to me like there was some affluence there. I don't know. And then this young woman, mother, partner, daughter, etc., was killed by ICE as she tried to drive away from where they were. And there were a group of people who were protesting ICE, and I wondered if she felt sort of secure, safe in exercising her democratic right to protest against them with others, and then to just be so unsafe in that moment. In any event, I do take your point. I mean, when I start feeling like I'm floating around and feeling a little insecure and unsafe, I do look to my friends, my neighbors, my allies.
You even call me sometimes.
I do.
So let's be friends and let's fight the evil forces together.
Okay.
Hand in hand, you and me.
Okay, let's do that.
Leilani. I mean, your husband doesn't care because he only loves donuts anyway. So.
He's being maligned. Poor David, being maligned. See you next week, Fredrik.
See you, Leilani. And to friends, if you want to support the podcast, send us some money on Patreon. It's not bad. Patreon.com, Pushback Talks. See you.
See you.
Pushback Talks is produced by WG Film. To support the podcast, become a patron by going to patreon.com/pushbacktalks. Follow us on social media at make_the_shift and push_the_film. Or check out our websites, maketheshift.org, pushthefilm.com, or breakingsocialfilm.com.